Hey YouTube, welcome back to Alongfortheride. We're just loading up some tools here, getting ready to head out to the deck project. We got one more day of build there and we should be good. Today we're gonna fix that railing that we've been working on for a few days now that all the parts are in, and finish putting the fascia board on so it's all covered in Trex and we should be ready to go. So why don't you come along and check it out and join the ride. Hey, here we are back on the job site, and it looks like the client has been enjoying the deck. They got some plants up there, and there's that railing that's got to come down. So two jobs today. First is to finish up this railing around the corner and down those steps, and the second is to add the fascia to the side of the deck here. So I think we'll start with the railing because the fascia will finish the deck off and that'll make the job feel like it's done. So step number one is to dismantle what's here. Actually, a good step number one was putting a hat on and some suntan lotion. Safety first. So the nice part about this is we can reuse all the work we did because the spacing's going to stay the same. We're just increasing the height of the posts. And we'll get rid of these carriage bolts and put some real bolts in. Well, a couple things we're doing here. You can see we've replaced our carriage bolts with regular bolts so that we can tighten them properly. I'd prefer to use zinc coated, but they didn't have any. These will be fine, they won't rust and they'll be covered, so it's not going to be like it's exposed to the elements. The second thing I'm doing is flipping these top rails around so that the hole that I drilled with the self-tapping screw is on the inside. That way when I use the self-tapping screw on the outside here, it will drill a new hole and keep it nice and tight. So I'm not sure if we talked about this in the other video, but when you're leveling things, it's always a good idea to level them both with a level but also visually. We want to make sure that it looks level with the house, because even if it's not level, when you look you can only tell if something's level if you reference something else. So that's looking pretty good. So we're going to level the rest of these posts up with that one, and I like to tighten them with my hand tools rather than a drill, because then you can tell when it's tight and you don't over tighten it and strip the legs. They all look pretty level. Now we're just going to double check them. Make sure the bubbles between the lines, that is not bad. So the bottoms aren't going to move much, so we got them screwed in, but I do have a little bit of play up here if I want to push them out to get them level. That's that railing all buttoned up and ready to go. And now we'll deal with this post at the top of the stairs. We've already got this one marked out as to where it's going to go, so we're going to put that in, drill it up, and leg it in, and then we'll come down to this bottom step down here and put the last post in on that last tread. Well, it's nice that the shade has moved around here, or maybe that we've moved into the shade and we can work in there because it was getting pretty warm. We've already got this marked out as to its location, but I did forget my nice little jig. But thankfully we're only doing 2 posts today, so it shouldn't take very long. And I know we want this in an inch from there. And use our speed square to set it up nice and straight. Mark our holes, and then just drill it in. So it turns out we're lined up directly with some Trex screws in here, and of course that makes sense because there's a joist sitting right here that we want it on. So I think we're going to try and pull those plugs out and see if we can't get those screws out, and we'll just drill right through and locate the post there. I'm thinking the easiest way to pull these plugs out is going to be to drill a hole in the center of them and put a screw in them, and then pull the screw. Hopefully that'll pull the plug. Boom, there we go. Well, there she is. I'm also thinking, because I don't have my nice little jig here, I'm going to drill some smaller holes so I can locate these holes accurately and then bore them out at 3/8. That way I'm hoping they'll line up better. Let's see how that works. I have to say, as I'm working to put this YouTube channel together, that I'm always trying to figure out whether or not I should be planning for a video or planning to work. So, you know, making mistakes and finding tools and forgetting tools, it's all part of the job, but is it part of the YouTube? I'm not sure. Okay, there's mistake number one. That should be going right through, and I didn't drill it all the way through. There we go. That'll work better. Make sure the post is going the right way, so I have a railing I can attach to. There we go. Some lag bolts. Before we tighten it too much, we want to measure our railing across here and find out just how long it needs to be. So 75.5. Good number. Decided to use these old stairs as a bit of a workbench. So I'm noticing that this corner post is really off level towards the house. So we're going to loosen it up and shim it up a bit, maybe with some washers right now, and see if that does the trick, just so we can get it all sitting level. Normally you'd cut a piece of cedar shim, but I didn't bring any with me. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull these bolts and legs out, put 2 washers underneath, and tighten them up, and that'll work as my shim. So if you haven't seen one of these before, this is what we call a post level, and what's nice about it is it just straps around the sides of the post. Put your little elastic on it, and it tells you whether or not the post is level all directions, and that's looking pretty good. So probably the most difficult part of doing this is always the staircase, and I haven't done a lot of them. I mean, I have my railing at home that's similar to this, and I was able to measure and find out where my brackets needed to be. But just to double check, I checked YouTube, and sure enough, the video was good, and I'm right where I need to be. So I'm gonna put my lower bracket on here, and the magic distance between the lower bracket and the upper bracket is 28 5/8, and I've used my nice rim joist here to make a note so I don't forget. So we're going to put the bottom rail and the top rail in here, and then we're ready to snap in some spindles and then do the fascia. So things are looking good and coming along really well. These are the brackets for the stairs here. And again, you know, if I was planning YouTube, I would have opened these up before I started recording. That would have made for a much better video. So we've got these brackets that we need to put on. They go onto the post. And you've got this piece here. This one holds the top rail, and this one holds the bottom rail. Well, we kind of got rained out there, but managed to get all the railing done. The top and bottom rails are in. No picket yet, and the homeowner showed up, and he's ready to do some, but we'll show him in the morning and get the rest of the fascia on tomorrow. The railing went in good. It's 42 inches high, and we only actually have 1 extra post because the client's going to use the short post for his front porch. So stay tuned, and we'll finish up tomorrow morning bright and early. See you then.